it's Angela from Angela's Paper Arts, and today I want to give a quick demonstration on how to use this new Very Best Trio punch from Stampin' Up. It has got 3 options on the punch to give you different effects, and you'll find it in the new July to December 2022 catalogue. It's on, let me just get the page. There we go. You'll find it on page 68 of the catalogue. You can buy individually and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Melbourne, Australia. So if you're in Australia, it's $37. If you're in a different country, it will be a different price. It can be bundled also with this Very Best Occasion stamp set. The choice is yours. You can buy these things separately, or you can buy them as a bundle and save 10%. So I want to give you some tips on how to use this new punch, because you might think it's quite limited or maybe a little bit confusing, considering the corner here isn't symmetrical. So I'm going to show you some tips on that. I have prepared a little tip sheet on the different effects you can get, but I'll show you how to use it first and we can talk about then the effects. So just starting with, let's start with the simple one, the Slanted Edge. Just take a strip of cardstock. You don't want it any more than 1.9 centimeters, which is 3/4 of an inch. You don't want it any wider than that because that's the width of the slant, at the bigger slant. So anything 1.9 centimeters or smaller, just put it in to the punch. Now with these punches, there's sort of like a stopper. There's an edge that you butt the cardstock up against, and it can't go any further. And the same when you push it all the way in, you'll feel resistance. It can't go any further. So you put your cardstock in as far as you can, and then just simply press down in the middle of the punch, and you can see this piece of cardstock is actually bigger than 1.9 centimeters. That's why I've got that little edge there. Let me just flip that and see if I've got it right on the other end. Oh yes, I have. So there we go. That was me not cutting my cardstock straight just before here. So 1.9 centimeters is the max you can get for that slant. Otherwise, that's what you end up with, that little groove, that little straight edge, and that's all there is to it. It does give you that little offcut. You may want to use that as a photo corner on your scrapbooking pages. So these little edges could be used for other purposes. So that's how simple it is to just get this straight edge. You can see here on my little tip sheet, I've said no more than 1.9 centimeters. You can do 2 lots of slants if you want that look, and you can even layer them together, use them in different measurements. So in this case, I've done a 1.5 centimeter in white cardstock and 1 centimeter in the pink cardstock, so that it layers nicely together. And normally I'd be stamping on this bit and adding that to my card. So that's the slant. The other thing you can do with the slant, create an octagon. So this started as a square of 6.5 centimeters, and I just took, if I grab one of those, I just took the edge off, and then it came down to this shape. So you can see on the tip up here, you can do this for any square or any rectangle. As long as you've got something with a straight edge, you'll get that even corner around all 4 sides. So that's the slant. The next one I want to talk about is the hole punch. It's a rectangular hole punch, and I find that useful for threading ribbon through, or any other. You can even thread cardstock. At the front of the punch, there's this, hopefully you can see that. Let me just get that. There is a line, and that's your center. And so if you want to, you can always mark the center of your cardstock. I'm just going to eyeball it for today, but I know that's the center line grab a pencil or pen so you can see it. So that's where the center is, right there, according to that mark. And so you just put your cardstock in. Again, you'll feel it won't be able to go any further, and press down in the center, and there's your hole punch. Nice and easy. Now, I've used that in a couple of ways. I've used it as a ribbon slider, so that's where I've punched holes at the end of a sentiment strip. You can see I've stamped Thinking of You there as an example, and then I've threaded ribbon behind it, and I would wrap that around my card or whatever the project is I'm creating. Alternatively, you can create a tag topper with it. So you can see I've combined the decorative edge as well as the hole punch to create the top of a tag. So if you're into making gift tags and Christmas gift tags, this is one way you can do this, and you're not limited in size because you can make this as small or as wide as you like. Okay, so that's the hole punch. Then lastly, we've got this decorative edge. Now, first thing you'll probably say, but it's not symmetrical. No, it's not, and it was designed deliberately like that. So I'm going to do two different examples of this to show you what you can do with it. So normally I would just put my cardstock in, press, and I'll rotate down to the next corner, press, rotate, put the cardstock in, press, and last but not least, press. And what that gives you, let me just put that on the paper there so you can see better. What you'll see though is that it gives you an uneven corner. So on this one you've got a sharp edge, and this one you've got a rounded edge. So you get the same edge on opposite corners. So that's the same there. It may be that you don't like the odd edges. I'll show you an example of a card I've used that on because I wanted it a little bit more funky for a young fella. But if you want to have the same edge on every corner, the same look, I'll show you what you do. So you put your cardstock in just as we did before, press, but instead of rotating, we're going to flip the cardstock over and put it back in. And there you'll see we've got the same edge on both ends. We've got that rounded edge down the sides, and we've got the pointed edge at the top. And you do the same with the other two sides. So punch, flip, punch. And that way you end up with this look where you've got the same edge on every corner. This is the one where you've got the different edge on opposite corners, where I've just rotated rather than flip. The other things you can do, and as you can see I'm getting a little pile there, you can actually use it as a corner rounder. So in this case, what I did was punch both corners on a smaller strip, which gave me this look. And that's where I had the, depends which way you put your cardstock in. If you put your cardstock in this way or your cardstock in this way. And that's why I've got a little indicator of which way to put your cardstock in to get the different looks. So if you put it in one way, you can get a corner rounder and just cut off that little excess. If you do it the other way, which is the horizontal way, you just get this look. Yep, so vertical gives you this, horizontal gives you this look. And now this is for a 1.9 centimeter wide strip. If you had it a bit bigger, like 2.2 centimeters, you could even get a different decorative edge on the end too. So there are quite a few, as you can see, this one little punch can give you quite a few different looks, and I just wanted to give you those few tips And you can play around with the width of your sentiment strip or whatever it is you're going to put on there. Let me just show you. This is an old card I did a few years ago, but it's got that slanted edge. So if I wanted to do that now, I would just use my punch to get it accurate. You can see here I've laid that on gold. So you don't have to have the whole thing appearing. You can just have that little accent. For this one, this is where I used it on a 21st birthday card. And I did want the different edges, which you can see here. I've got rounded at the top here, but pointed here. Because, you know, it's a young guy. He likes, you know, things a little bit more funkier than, you know, the standard things. So, and if you're wondering how I got all those dots onto the label, because you can do that too, it's the new label Aglows dies, and I used, and these put dots in all your whatever it is you're punching out, and I used that die to create all those dots in the paper for extra interest. It does come as it is also in the new catalogue, and let me just quickly see if I can find it. It is, right, gone past it. There we are. There we go. So on page 33 of the new catalogue, so there's you can get it a bundle with this stamp set, with the Brightest Glow stamp set, or you can just buy the dies themselves, or if you get it as a bundle, it's 10% off. So I like extra texture and things on my cards, so I just felt that lifted it up, and went with the theme of having dots on this card. Anyway, I just wanted to give you those quick tips on how to use the new Very Best Trio Punch, and hopefully you found that useful. Thanks for watching. Bye.